Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Peter, and this is Deaf Gowan Camping. Um, Recording the video today from inside the camper. I forgot that I have an appointment in Sacramento tomorrow in the morning, so I wasn't able to go down and be with Katie yesterday, just to save on fuel cost. But I'll be going to that appointment and then joining up with her tomorrow. Um, yeah, I hope to get her on video. She exists. She really does. I'm hoping to get her on video maybe tomorrow when I get to. I'll see if she feels well enough to making a video with me. So for now, I've just kind of got everything just kind of thrown in here. Got the windows open to air it out before I head out tomorrow. Um, I'll give you guys a tour of it and the pop-up process and stuff when I get there. Um, yeah, yeah. Keep kind of getting hit with bad news, but yeah, yeah. I'll leave that for later. Um, so I guess that brings us to story time with Pete. Um, so years ago, I was about 19 years old. I went on a vacation with my girlfriend, her parents, and her sister to head up to Montana for a little bit more than a week. I forget how long we were gone, but it was more than a week. I think it was like 10 days or something like that. And I had 2 weeks paid vacation from work. So I took my 2 weeks, and before we left, I just kind of used that to get my truck all set up. I used to have a 1989 Ford Bronco 2 that I customized out. Yeah, it was a pretty sick truck, compact SUV, but it was capable. Um, Loved it. I know all you Ford haters out there are gonna probably talk shit, but oh, whatever. I've owned all sorts of different cars in my life. Um, Fords, Chevys, BMW, Volkswagen, Jeep, Dodge, um, Honda. Yeah, a whole bunch of different cars, and the only one Toyota. The only ones I actually liked were Fords. So yeah, y'all can keep your comments to yourself about my Fords. Uh, it's not that I hate on anybody else. Right now I'm filming from inside the camper, which is on a Chevy. So yeah, I don't hate on other trucks and cars like other people do, but whatever. But anyway, so I think the first stop we made was, I think it was Albany. It may have been further into um, Oregon, but we stayed with my girlfriend's aunt and uncle, and I do remember we went out on his little aluminum fishing boat. It was like a little 16-foot fishing boat. Um, Went out on that, checked out, I think it was the Snake River or the Columbia River, but whatever it was a river we went and checked out. And then we started heading towards Seattle, Washington. Um, my girlfriend's stepdad had a pretty sick Land Cruiser, older Land Cruiser. Um, he was supposed to sell it to me when he was ready to get rid of it, but we broke up, and whatever. Can't blame the guy. Um, but his the ball joint on his manual shift that came off, so we ended up staying wherever the hell we were, somewhere in Washington, um, at a hotel for like 3 days, waiting for that part to come in. It was an easy fix, but the part wasn't readily available. So we did that, and then we made it into Seattle. Went and saw the Space Needle and that park where they had the World Fair or whatever it was famous for. Um, but they rented these freaking sick bikes out. I've always been into bikes. I mean, yeah, I didn't even have training wheels. I never had training wheels on my bike. I jumped my brother's bike, old BMX, and that was the actual brand. You guys remember those? BMX with a banana seat. Um, but my mom said, and I actually remember it. My mom said I just walked down to the driveway, picked it up, started pedaling, went around the corner, and she came chasing after me, telling me to stop. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to stop. And I rode right underneath the truck and smacked my face on the bumper. But I've always been into bicycles, 10 speeds, BMX, mountain bikes, ramps, jumps, you name it. I loved it. The bikes that they rented, though, they was like a three-wheel bike, but you turned it. There was some handles on it down by your sides, pedal out in the front tire, and you turned it by leaning and pulling on those handles. Oh man, I had so much fun on that thing. I was just ripping through that park, getting sideways on it, people yelling at me. I didn't care. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Yeah, am I going fast? Yeah, I am, but I'm not going to run anybody over. I'm just having fun. I'm jumping it off the stairs, whipping 360s in the air. I mean, I had a great time. I think we were only in Seattle for one night because of the breakdown. And we had to get to Montana. And then, of course, the clock is ticking to where I got to be home to get back to work. And so we headed up to Montana, Kalispell, Montana. I think that was the name of the town. Whitefish. I think it was Kalispell. But went and stayed with another one of her aunt and uncles. And Yeah, I did some day trips and went on some adventures and stuff. Went out and saw, I think it was Whitefish Lake or Flathead Lake. Lake. Went and checked that out. That was cool. Uh, Took a drive up the road to the sun up in Glacier. Went up into Canada. Um, what else did we do? We went to. It kind of freaked me out. Previous videos, I've told you guys about bear stories. Um, but there's a park there, and it was a drive-through park, uh, a drive-through bear viewing park. I mean, there are freaking bears everywhere. You know, you're not supposed to feed them. You're not supposed to roll down your windows. They're mostly contained behind chain link fence. Well, no, they were contained behind chain link fence or some sort of fence. Uh, did that. That was unnerving, to say the least. I mean, I don't care. I mean, just my luck is gonna climb the fence and break the window and bite my head. I mean, well, we went on a guided horseback ride through the Rocky Mountains. That was cool. I know how to ride a horse. I'm no horse expert or anything like that, but my girlfriend at the time, she had a horse. You know, used to ride him, feed him, clean him, groom him, lunge him, get all the tack on. Uh, you know, I know how to ride a horse. It's not rocket science or anything. But of course, they had to give me the biggest, meanest son of a bitch they had, or that horse just didn't like me. I don't know, but man, it was a pain in the ass keeping that guy in line. Uh, but that was cool, going through the Rockies on horseback. We went through this valley, see mountain goats and other wildlife and stuff up on the mountainsides. That was cool. Uh, what else did we do? Went and did some wheeling. I don't remember where we went, but it was somewhere near Glacier Park. Um, that was awesome. I went with my girlfriend, her cousin, and her boyfriend. Uh, yeah, that was super awesome. Yeah, definitely pushed the limits of the capabilities in that truck. Uh, but it was fun. You know, I got to one point where we're on the mountain sideways and starts sliding, and I knew I was about to roll, so I turned the front wheels to go down. I clipped a rock. I ended up snapping my power steering uh, line, cable, belt. Uh, that was kind of a pain in the ass. If anybody's ever driven a power steering vehicle on without power steering, it's a real pain in the ass. You really got to struggle to keep the wheel turning. Even driving down the freeway, it's not like driving a car without power steering, because the power steering is actually working against the steering wheel because the fluid's not moving. Um, but we made it home, pretty quick, easy fix, no catastrophe or anything like that. Um, I was actually there during the O.J. Simpson trial and the verdict. Man, I remember seeing that. Are you kidding me? That guy actually got away with murder. Sorry, I can say that. I can make that claim because civilly he lost. So I can make that claim. He actually got away with murder. Uh, so, did the trip, spent time with the family, playing games, talking, chatting, learning. Um, Her uncle is full blooded Indian from the Blackfoot tribe. Um, and I asked if I could go and visit with the elders. Um, that's what I touched on yesterday. I was actually going to tell this story yesterday, but I got stuck talking about my grandpa. Um, but I asked him if I could go meet and visit with some of the elders because, I'm also Native American, at least half ish, whatever. Um, but I wanted to go visit just because, I'm interested in the Indian culture. I know not all tribes share the exact same cultures, but they are very similar. And I don't know if he was full of shit or not, but what he told me was unless you're full blooded Indian, you can't meet with the elders. I'm not. And it kind of indicated that they didn't take much liking to white people. Um, and I mean, you look at me, I look, people say I'm white. I mean, when I'm filling out a job application or something, I always mark down I'm white just because that's how people perceive me. But I'm actually an Indian. At least half of me is Cherokee. So anyway, for I couldn't go see the elders, and I didn't just want to go to the reservation and see tourists. What's the point in that? I mean, I've been to Indian reservations before. They're all basically the same. Their gift shops are basically the same. So ended up not going at all. Um, so we made it made it a good trip. Uh, it was time for me and my girlfriend to head home. Uh, Back to Sacramento in California. And, we had the whole trip mapped out on an actual road map, old school, fold the map right type of shit. Um, and we planned on staying in Twin Falls, Idaho. I ended up, or we were driving and we ended up having to take this detour that was like 300-mile detour all the way through the mountains, not on the highway, which was a straight shot on this gravel road. And it went around a lake. And that was the first time I ever saw a bald eagle. And I mean, I was absolutely ecstatic about that. I had never seen one before. Um, yeah, I'm not even at a zoo or anything. I mean, I've never seen one in person. It's always just been on TV or in magazines and stuff like that. Um, it flies off, but the lake, the road goes around the other side of the lake. So when we got to the other side again, we actually caught it flying again. Pulled over, watched it fly, and we actually got to watch it fly into its nest right on top of this big old tree. And that was really cool to see. I took some pictures of it. Um, I don't know what since happened to those pictures. But that was cool. But that was a long detour. Added a lot of time to our trip, but we finally made it to Twin Falls, and just my luck, there was a classic car show going on. A lot of cool cars all over the place, but there wasn't a single freaking room available. No hotels, no motels. Everything was booked. We stopped at several, and they said unless you got a reservation, you're not going to find a room. Yeah, might as well. Yeah, go back where you came from or continue forward. So continued back, coming home. I ended up driving for like 16 hours straight. We made it into Nevada. I remember driving. I was so exhausted in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere to stop, no rest stops, nothing. There was just nothing out there. We ended up, I don't even remember where we stayed, um, but we ended up finding a KOA campground. Pulled in. I just needed to close my eyes for a few hours. But you know, of course, we get the you gotta go. Oh, are you kidding me? So yeah, we head down the road. We ended up finding a motel. It was pretty late at night, and the desk clerk was super cool. She could see we were exhausted. I was like, "Look, we can pay for the room, but you know, we're gonna be. We gotta get home. We'll be out of here before checkout." So she was super cool. She only charges like for a half night, like half the rate. So that was cool. We got some sleep. I got a couple hours of sleep. We woke up while I was driving my girlfriend. She was sleeping pretty much the whole time, so she was plenty rested. So for the last leg home, wasn't too far. Um, I forget where we were, but it was only a couple of hours to get home from there. So I went to sleep and she drove the last leg. Uh, Made it home. Went to work the next day. While I was on vacation, we were in the bidding process of keeping our contract with the electrical provider in the Sacramento region, which is called SMUD, Sacramento Municipal Utilities District, for doing attic insulation, and that is what I did. Uh, I got to work. I hear the guys talking, saying that we didn't get it, that it went to another company, one of our competitors, um, that I refused to work for. I didn't like the owner of the company. He was a freaking dickhead. Um, but I kind of knew what was going to happen at that point. You know, those insulation jobs, I was doing like 3 or 4 houses a day, and they were all for SMUD. There wasn't, none of them were for people calling to have their houses insulated. So I knew it was up. I knew it was going to happen. And sure as shit, my boss calls me into the office. Says, I'm assuming you heard we lost our contract. Yep. I had seniority over quite a few people. I'd worked there for a few years. Um, and I knew, I was 19 years old. I knew what was about to happen. So he's like, so we're gonna have to lay somebody off. We just don't have enough work to keep everybody busy at the moment. I was like, yeah, I get it. Kind of figured. And he's like, it's down between you and Jim. Uh, Jim was also younger, but like in his 20s, and he had two kids, just, young kids. So I was like, all right, Rick, I get it. I get it. I get it. You don't have to say it. I understand, man. I mean, he's got kids. I'm 19. I'm very skilled with these guys. And I really didn't. I found a job within like 2 or 3 days over at a plumbing company, so that wasn't a big deal. But since I volunteered to be laid off, it was super, super awesome for that company that I worked for. They have long since gone out of business. It was a family-owned company. But since I volunteered to be laid off, and I just taken my 2 weeks paid vacation, they said, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I got paid twice for my 2 week vacation. They gave me all my profit sharing. I ended up walking out of there with, like 2 months' salary in my pocket, or to put into the bank anyway. So, that was pretty awesome of them. They could have just said, pound sand. But, like I said, I worked there for many years. And had good relationships with every single person that worked there, all the way down to the founder, the founder's wife, I should say. The founder died, was the owner's dad. Him and his brother inherited the company, and they ran it, and she still profited from it. So, I even had a good relationship with her. Got a glowing letter of recommendation from them. And then they ended up going out of business a few years later. I had a good time working there. A lot of good guys I worked with there. I learned a lot working there, installing windows and stuff like that. I'd never done that before. I guess that'll do it for this video. I know it's kind of a different one, not really about camping, but it was definitely an adventure. So I hope you guys liked the story today, liked the video. If so, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, share. I'm going to keep doing this. I don't plan on, becoming like a famous YouTuber or anything like that. I have no delusions of anything like that, but I enjoy doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it. And then when I'm getting back to what I love, which is being outside, I'll definitely put up some cool videos for you guys. So I guess that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching Deaf Gown Camping. Peace out.